Hello everyone. So this session we discussing about CTET అలాగే AP టెట్ సోషల్ మెథడాలజీ అండి. అండ్ అలాగే డిఎస్సి కూడా వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ క్వశ్చన్స్ వచ్చే ఛాన్స్ ఉంది ఈ లెసన్ నుంచి. సో టుడే వీ డిస్కసింగ్ అబౌట్ 9th క్లాస్ అండి. 9th క్లాస్ పొలిటికల్ సైన్స్లో వర్కింగ్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ గురించి డిస్కస్ చేస్తున్నాం అనమాట. చాప్టర్ వచ్చి ఏంటంటే వర్కింగ్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ అనమాట. చాప్టర్ నేమ్ ఏంటంటే వర్కింగ్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ అనమాట. ఓకేనా. నెక్స్ట్ అసలు ఏంటి వర్కింగ్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్? డెమోక్రసీ ఈజ్ నాట్ జస్ట్ అబౌట్ పీపుల్ ఎలక్టింగ్ దేర్ రూలర్స్. ఇన్ ఎ డెమోక్రసీ ద రూలర్స్ హ్యావ్ టు ఫాలో సమ్ రూల్స్ అండ్ ప్రొసీజర్స్. అంటే ఏంటి? డెమోక్రసీ అనేది నాట్ జస్ట్ అబౌట్ పీపుల్ ఎలక్టింగ్ దేర్ రూలర్సే కాకుండా డెమోక్రసీలో కొన్ని రూల్స్ అండ్ ప్రొసీజర్స్ ఉంటాయి. అవి దే హ్యావ్ టు వర్క్ విత్ ఇన్ ద ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ అనమాట. అవి విత్ ఇన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్లో వర్క్ అవ్వాలి. అయితే ఇన్ డెమోక్రసీ 3 ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ ప్లే ఏ మేజర్ రోల్ అనమాట. మన డెమోక్రసీలో 3 ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్ అనేది ఒక మేజర్ రోల్ని ప్లే చేస్తాయి అనమాట. 3 ఇన్స్టిట్యూట్స్ వచ్చి అంటే చాలామందికి తెలుసు. ఎగ్జిక్యూటివ్, అలాగే జ్యుడిషియరీ, ఇంకోటి వచ్చి ఏంటంటే ఎగ్జిక్యూటివ్, జ్యుడిషియరీ, అలాగే ఇంకోటి వచ్చి లెజిస్లేచర్ అనమాట. లెజిస్లేచర్ మీన్స్ ఎనాక్ట్ లాస్, ఎగ్జిక్యూటివ్ మీన్స్ ఇంప్లిమెంట్ ద లాస్, జ్యుడిషియరీ మీన్స్ ఎన్ష్యూర్ జస్టిస్ అనమాట. ఓకేనా. ఎన్ష్యూర్ జస్టిస్ ఇదన్నమాట. సో హౌ ఈజ్ ఏ మేజర్ పాలసీ డిసిషన్ టేకన్ అనమాట. అంటే ఈ 3 అన్నిటిని కూడా వర్కింగ్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్ అనమాట. సో దీస్ 3 ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ డిపెండ్ ఆన్ ఈచ్ అదర్. సో దే డిపెండెంట్ ఆన్ ఈచ్ అదర్. సో హౌ ఈజ్ ఏ మేజర్ పాలసీ డిసిషన్ టేకెన్? ఒక మేజర్ పాలసీ డిసిషన్ అనేది ఎలా టేకెన్ చేస్తారంటే ఒక గవర్నమెంట్ ఈజ్ గివెన్ అనమాట. ఒక గవర్నమెంట్ ఆర్డర్, జియో అంటారు. జియో ఎవ్రీ వన్ నో అబౌట్ జియో. సో దట్ గవర్నమెంట్ పాస్డ్ వన్ జియో. సో ఫ్రమ్ దట్ డే ఆన్వర్డ్స్ దే ఫాలో దట్ రూల్ అనమాట. ఓకేనా. సో once you see the government of India appointed the second backward commission in 1979. Hence it was headed by BPP Mandal anamata. BPP Mandal. So for example, once you take the example of second backward commission, the government of India appointed the second backward commission in 1979. Hence it was headed by BP Mandal, popularly known as Mandal Commission. It was asked to determine the criteria to identify the socially and educationally backward classes. What happened? The government of India appointed second backward commission in 1979. It was headed by BP Mandal. Hence popularly it commission is called Mandal Commission. Mandal Commission government it was asked to determine the criteria to identify the socially and educationally backward classes. Finally this commission, Mandal Commission, gave its report in 1980, and one of the recommendation is 27% reservation in government jobs for socially and educationally backward classes. So this is BP Mandal, the commission chairman. So finally 1979 this Mandal Commission was appointed and finally submitted its report in 1930. That commission gave one of the recommendation is they give 27% reservation in government jobs for socially and educationally backward classes. So okay, understood. Next, so what happened? Finally that commission submit report on one of the recommendation is give 27% reservation for socially, educationally, economic backward classes. So what happened? So for several years many parliamentarians and parties kept demanding the implementation of this commission recommendation. So finally actually the Mandal Commission give the recommendation 27% reservation give to socially and educationally backward classes, but no government implemented this Mandal Commission, no government implemented this. So finally in the Lok Sabha elections of 1989 Janata Dal election manifesto, the Janata Dal promised that if they voted to power it would implement the Mandal Commission report. What in 1900 elections are came, Lok Sabha central government elections are came, Janata Dal party election manifesto. So in that manifesto, if Janata Dal came to the power they would implement this Mandal Commission report. So understood. Next, Janata Dal formed the government. Finally Janata Dal formed the government. VP Singh became the prime minister. Several development took place. On 6th August the Union Cabinet took a formal decision to implement the recommendations. Finally 13th August 1990 implemented. So actually what this Janata Dal government said in 1989 Lok Sabha election in their election manifesto, if Janata Dal promised that if Janata Dal came to power it would implement this Mandal Commission report. So as usual in 1989 Janata Dal formed the government and VP Singh became the prime minister. They implemented this Mandal Commission report. Finally on 13th August 1990 they implemented this 27 reservation to socially and educationally backward classes. So after that they implemented, so many agitations are occurred in India. So for example the famous case Indira Sahani versus Union of India 1992 against this reservation. So here you see some slogans against that reservations. Government will have to take back the Mandal Commission report. So what happened in Indira Sahani and others versus Union of India, 11 judges of the Supreme Court had arguments of both sides. In that Indira Sahani case, Supreme Court 11 judges benches are there. They had arguments of both sides. By a majority, the Supreme Court judges in 1992, thus the order of Government of India is valid. Finally, most of the 11 judges are there. So, 11 judges, the majority judges says that Government of India, this reservation is valid. So, means what is majority here? Suppose 11 is there. So, you get more than 6, you will get majority. So in that Indira Sahani and others versus Union of India case, 11 judges are there in bench. So finally this reservation 27 reservation favored judge outcome will come. So finally in that case Government of India 27% reservation to social and educationally backward classes is valid. So accordingly the Department of Personnel and Training issued another office memorandum on 8th September 1993 that the dispute came to an end and this policy has been followed since then. So finally the official Department of Personnel and Training issued another office memorandum. Means previous it is called OM means office memorandum, now it is called GO means government order on 8th September 1993. From that word onwards these 27 reservations to social and economically backward classes, nothing but OBC reservations are followed. Okay, next how these decisions are taken. So decisions are taken in the parliament. If majority are supported in the parliament, then the bill become passed out. So what is parliament? Now you see what is parliament. Present Indian parliament, it is what is parliament. In all democracies an assembly of elected representatives exercises supreme political authority on behalf of people. In all democracies an assembly of elected representatives exercises supreme political authority on behalf of people. In India such a national assembly of elected representatives is called parliament. What is parliament? National assembly of elected representatives is called parliament. At state level it is called legislature or legislative assembly. Suppose in central parliament means of elected, we elected that representatives, we choose our representatives. At center it is called nation, it is called parliament. Same we elected our representatives who So in state level it is called legislature or legislative assembly. Next, some powers are there with the parliament. What are the powers? You see, some powers are there with the parliament. You see, parliament is the final authority for making laws in the country. Everyone know, parliament is the final authority for making laws in the country. Parliament exercise some control over those who run the government. So some control to run the government, parliament have it. Parliaments control all the money that governments have. What are the money in the government? That money is controlled by the parliament. Parliament is the highest form of discussion and debate on public issues. Parliament is the highest form of discussion and debate on public issues and national policy. So next, two houses of parliament. Next, two houses of parliament. In parliament, two houses are there. One is Lok Sabha, another one is Raj Sabha. You can clearly see this is Lok Sabha. So lower house is called Lok Sabha, the house of the people. Then also this Lok Sabha is called the house of the people. Most matters the Lok Sabha exercises supreme power. So most of the matters the Lok Sabha exercises supreme power. So Lok Sabha is called lower house. It is also called house of the people. Most matters Lok Sabha exercises almost so much power is there with Lok Sabha. So already Lok Sabha is elected by the people directly. Lok Sabha members, Lok Sabha MPs elected directly by the people. Next, Raj Sabha. It is upper house. Look at this picture. It is Raj Sabha. It is upper house. Council of states are representatives in this house. So this Raj Sabha is indirectly elected by the people. So this tenure is 6 years. The tenure of Raj Sabha is 6 years. The tenure of Lok Sabha is 5 years. The Lok Sabha is presided by Speaker. Present Speaker is Om Birla. Present Speaker is Om Birla. Lok Sabha tenure is 5 years. The Raj Sabha tenure is 6 years. It is the not Speaker is there. In here it is called ex officio chairman of Raj Sabha. Nothing but who is the Vice President of India. He act as the ex officio chairman of Raj Sabha. So present is C.P. Radhakrishnan. So 6 years. That one Lok Sabha is 5 years. It is upper house. It is Council of States. Next, you look at any ordinary law needs to be passed by both houses, but if there is difference between two houses, the final decision is taken in joint sitting. The view of Lok Sabha is likely to prevail in such a meeting. For example, you see any ordinary law need to be passed. One ordinary law is there. It needs to be passed by the both houses. But what happened? One house is passed that law, but another one is not passing that law. So what happened? The final decision is taken in joint sitting. Means together both Raj Sabha and Lok Sabha people together sit. They solve the issue. If what happened? If not get that issue is solved, whatever the Lok Sabha is say stand on that law. So that is prevail. So that another one. Lok Sabha exercises more powers in money matters. Lok Sabha exercises more powers in money matter. Once the Lok Sabha passes the budget of the government or any other money related law, the Raj Sabha cannot reject it. Raj Sabha can only delay it by it 14 days or suggest changes in it. Another I also said that Lok Sabha exercises more powers in money matters. Once Lok Sabha passes the budget of the government or any other money related law, the Raj Sabha cannot reject it. Especially to money bills, if Lok Sabha passed, in Lok Sabha the money bill is passed and then goes to Raj Sabha cannot reject it, but can only delay it. Cannot reject it, that bill, but reject it. Reject it, the time period is only 14 days or suggest changes in it. If any changes are made by this Raj Sabha, it is accept or reject or won't wish to Lok Sabha people. Okay, next. Majority of the Council of Ministers have no confidence. All ministers, including PM, have to quit. Means what happened? Majority of the Council of Ministers have got no confidence motion. So automatically, all ministers, including PM, have to. They lost in the no confidence in Lok Sabha. So automatically, they will. All ministers, including PM, have to quit the PM post. Next, executive. In executive, two types are there. In executive, two types are there. One is elected by the people for a specific period. For example, who this political executive, MPs, MLAs, they're all or comes under this political executive. Means suppose for one we choose MPs, the MPs MLAs their term is 5 years, that is comes under political executive. What is permanent executive? People are appointed on a long term basis, like for example civil services, IAS, IPS, these are all permanent executive. Means these are not specific period, they have a long term basis up to their retirement. Next, this is our PM Narendra Modi. President appoint the prime minister, but the president cannot appoint anyone. See, like who appoints the prime minister? President appoints the prime minister, but president appoints the prime minister, but the president cannot appoint anyone he likes. The president appoints the leader of the majority party or the coalition of party that commands a majority in the Lok Sabha as prime minister. So president appoints the prime minister, the president appoints the leader of the majority party. For example, present BJP, you take BJP get majority, so who is that BJP leader? They will appoint as the prime minister. Okay, our coalition party that commands a majority in the Lok Sabha as prime minister. In case no single party or alliance get a majority, the president appoints the person most likely to secure a majority support. What happen if no single party or alliance get a majority? So then what the president will do means the person most likely to secure majority support, in that person who get majority support, that leader, the president will be appointed as prime minister. Then after that he will show the majority in the parliament. Okay, na? Next, the prime minister does not have a fixed tenure. He continues in power so long as he remains the leader of the majority party or coalition. Actually, the prime minister does not have a fixed tenure, is not there to prime minister. He continues in power as long as he remains the leader of the majority party. Up to the majority party or coalition. Majority party is there up to he is a prime minister. If not get majority, you automatically that government is dissolved. So total council of ministers 60 to 80 ministers are there. Cabinet ministers 25 ministers are there. Next, Minister of State with independent charge. What is Minister of State? You so many times you heard that Minister of State with independent charge. Usually in charge of smaller ministries, they participate in cabinet meetings only when specially invited. In charge of smaller ministries, Minister of State with independent charge means Ministry of small ministry but participate in cabinet meetings. They participate in cabinet meetings only when specially invited. That cabinet ministers of state attached to required assist cabinet ministers. What is Minister of State means? They assist to cabinet ministers. So that ministry is called Ministry of State. Next, President. Next, President. President is not elected directly by the people. President is elected by the elected MPs and MLAs. Next topic. President is not elected directly by the people. President is elected by elected MPs and elected MLAs. The removal of president is what? The removal of president. Removal of president is in the president election, both elected MPs and elected MLAs are participated presidential elections, that is called electoral college. But the removal of president, only elected MPs and nominated MPs are participated in the removal of president. But in president election, only elected MPs and elected MLAs are participated. In the removal of president, there is no participation of MLAs. Okay, clearly understood. Next, you can take powers of prime minister. The constitution does not say very much about the powers of prime minister or the ministers are there in relationship with each other. But here you can say prime minister, PM is the head of the government. PM is the head of the government. PM is the head of the government. President is the head of the state, means country. President head of the state. So clearly you make the president is the prime minister is the head of the government. President is the head of the state. So what are while the prime minister is the head of the government, president is the head of the state. In our political system, the head of the state exercises solely nominal power. In our Indian president is like the Britain Queen, like Britain Queen functions in our Indian president. So that is we already said that how the president removal. Okay, thank you.